back to the Thanks for Rolling podcast. I'm Pat, here with Jeff as always.
How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Tonight we're joined with Ryan Bartlett. What's up,
How
Ryan?
we doing, everybody?
How's
Thanks
it
for
going?
having me. Appreciate it.
1/3 of the Jiu-Jitsu Lifting Life podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. The new guy.
Is that still a thing?
I guess we've been kind of lazy with it, but I mean, hey, I'm just one of the co-hosts for it, so.
Not the driving force, is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Oh, no. I'm also. They say, hey, you want to show up? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll show up.
Yeah.
Show up when told.
Come in and
Yeah.
talk.
That's pretty much. That's all I do. But
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm happy you guys had me on here. I've been waiting.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a very long and distinguished list of guests that we have to work our way through. So everybody's got to wait their turn.
Yep. Well, I mean, I know I'm a pretty busy guy too, so all that sleeping and watching TV.
Right.
So
Right.
Well, yeah, no, I'm glad you guys got me on.
It's good life.
Absolutely. Very lazy life. So what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about you.
Oh, great. Yeah. So I like long walks on the beach, poetry. So I could start off with from young to now. I can start off with my just work career, or what are we starting at?
Well, first of all, I want to point out that you're the first guest to show up with his own notes to make sure that he remembers all the details of his own
Yeah,
life.
my one page.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
A for preparedness.
Right.
I try.
Right.
I try my best.
We generally like to start with how people ended up here in particular, right? How they ended up at the
Yeah.
gym. But I think for you, we'll start a little differently because we have some other points, right, to get
Yeah,
there about your jiu-jitsu journey. So talk about what do you do for a living?
Well, so I'm a cop up at UMass Amherst. I've been there for about 2.5 years now. Before that, I was at Hampton County Correction Office Department, and I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
And then just got tired of that, and I'm like, I got to take the jump, and went for UMass, and finally got in over there. So I'm much happier there.
Yeah. Were you a correction officer? Or?
Yeah, so I worked for pre-release there. So that's if you've ever been there, you get the main jail on one side, then behind it they have a pre-release, and I was there. So it's the guys who are getting ready to be released into pre-release. So they get ready to release in the community. So like they have more privileges. They have they can have jobs. So like a lot of people work on like construction sites, restaurants, all that other kind of stuff. We have community outreach programs. So like they'll go out, they'll clean up the streets, they'll go to parks, they'll clean the parks, and a lot of people think, oh, it must be pretty easy. It's like, actually, no, because a lot more contraband comes in because they have more privileges. And surprise, surprise, people in jail try to bring stuff in. So it doesn't have to have a day. It doesn't matter a day or they have a year, so they try to get in. But yeah, and I've been up at UMass Police Department. Now I'm a DT instructor. I just did that program. That was almost a 1.5-month program. Did that up in Worcester. Where is it? Was it Worcester? Yeah, it was somewhere out there. But did that. So now I'm a defensive tactics instructor for my work, which is pretty fun. So now I thought I was just teaching people, defensive tactics, but apparently now I'm going to be like one of the professionals. So if something happens where somebody gets into a fight or something like that with somebody, I could be a professional witness called to the stand. So I'm like, oh, there's actually a lot of work to this.
Yeah,
so it's not just
responsibility.
Yeah,
expert that they call, huh?
Yeah, I'm the expert apparently. But no, it's cool. Like I said, it's great because now I've been focusing more on that. Like, when I go online, I try to look at these videos that pop up, these controversial, like, what could a cop do better? What could he do, this, that, and the other. So it's great. I like it. I like the responsibility. So.
Do you go through, I think I saw pictures of you graduating from the police academy.
Yes.
So years and years ago, I had looked into becoming a police officer. This is probably like before 2000, maybe 97, 98. And at the time, you had to take like the state's police exam. You had to pass that, but you had to like pre-select your towns, right?
Yes, yeah.
And so like, is it the same kind of process then to end up at UMass, or like how did that come about?
So UMass, they used. I actually applied there like a year or two in when I was working at the jail, and because I heard about the benefits and all that kind of stuff, and it's a great opportunity. And so when I applied, it was different. You take their own test, so it's not the civil service exam. Mm-hmm. It's their own test that they provide. It's like it, but it's just pretty much for UMass. It doesn't go anywhere else. And of course, I didn't score. I got like an 80, and they were looking for like 85s. Like, I'm terrible at test taking, so I didn't hear anything back. But then you got to take their physical exam too, which is just push-ups, sit-ups, and a 1.5 mile run, something like that. And I did that, and I passed. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get the job. They're like, hey, you suck at taking tests, so you're not going to get it. So like 2 years later or something like that, I finally got the call, and that's how it happened. But for like civil service or like the state troopers, it's the town, you want to put the town that you live in.
Right.
And then it's like whatever ones that would possibly, you can apply for other, like, so if I wanted to go to Chicopee or some places, Springfield, you have to live in Springfield, which I'm all set with that.
Yeah.
So, but that's how that pretty much works. State troopers is pretty much the whole state. So it doesn't matter where you live. But they're doing pretty good with that now. They're doing, they put you a lot closer. Before they used to put you an hour away from your home. But I guess since you're hurting so bad for people, they're kind of helping people out.
I remember, so I passed the test, and the test was cool. I remember, like, it was like 3 drawings, and like, this is the guy's face, and then these are the 3 potential, like, ways you could disguise him. Which one is actually him? So I remember taking the test, passing it, and then after that, so after you've applied, after you've selected the towns that you wanted to potentially go into, I was living in Chicopee at the time, so I think it was like Chicopee, Wilbraham, my hometown, and like whatever else I selected, right? And then we all went to, I can't remember the name of the school. It's on the corner of Parker Street and Boston Road in Springfield, and like everybody's there, and they're like, okay, so here are the towns that aren't hiring. Like afterwards, so after you've already selected, like they're like, oh, sorry, we're not hiring there. We're not hiring there. I'm like, son of a bitch. So at that point, like I just kind of moved on, but it was pretty funny the way the process worked. Like, oh, sorry, we're just teasing you.
That's kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah. I mean, it's funny now because like I always thought, oh, the test should be pretty easy, and it's now I realize there's kind of like some tricks to it. But like before, when I was younger, like when I was like 21, I was going for all these positions. Like I went for the Secret Service, and it's like a basic, like you're still in like a police uniform, but you're down in like DC and stuff like that. And I ended up being late for the test, so that was a huge like. So show up early for those tests because the guy reading me out, he let me take the test, but surprise, I didn't get the job. I'm guessing that's pretty much the reason why. But yeah,
did you have to polygraph?
No, I didn't get anywhere. So I went for Delaware State Police, and I think they had the polygraph. But I didn't make it to that step. And I was also like 21, 22. But I did great on the test. I did good on the physical. They do the written and the physical the same day. So it's like you do like your 2-3 hour test. Hey, by the way, go over to this place, and now you're gonna go do push-ups, sit-ups, about and half run. It's just like, but then I made to the board of they had like 4 or 5 people that you got to talk to, and I remember I was terrified because the guy sitting across me looked like Lou Ferrigno, and like he had like, and like they don't like smile nothing. They're like, they read the questions, you give your answer, they can read it back once if you don't pay attention or if you just miss something. And he was just standing there, just sitting there, like looking at the paper and just staring up at me, like with the most terrifying look. Like his biceps are ripping through his shirt, and I'm just like, please. So like, yeah, that was pretty bad. But
great.
yeah. So it's I mean, it's all kind of like the same relatively, but it's like I said, I mean, even like the academies are pretty much almost the same too, around like nationwide. But yeah, I did that, and like I said, I was like, I think it was like 5.5 months for my academy. I did it over in Springfield, and it sucked, but it was definitely worth it. Definitely worth the pain and agony for those 5.5 months because I'm much happier.
Were they all UMass police officers in that academy, or was it a mixture of like?
So I didn't realize there's 2 academies in Springfield. There's the Western Mass, which is at Stick, and Springfield has their own, and it's usually like this full of Springfield cops, but then they'll like trickle in if they have open seats. So it's pretty much mostly Springfield, then Holyoke, and then like some of the other smaller towns. And then we get 3 UMass guys. So myself and 2 other. And now one doesn't even work for us. He's over at State Troopers now. So one academy to the next.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yep.
What so you were just talking about before we got on the mic about like going to a hockey game, you're like waving people in, doing traffic.
Yeah.
Right?
So I do a lot of details, and so details pretty much overtime, a road job, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so like I work hockey and basketball, and I think my wife caught on because I used to tell her how hard my job is. Then she's seen she was going up there to a couple of games. She's like, "This is what you do to get paid for." So yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, we do. It does get pretty crazy up there, pretty hectic. We do on the job, like a lot of mental health, especially through COVID. We've seen like an uprise in that, like almost 4 or 5 mental health issues, and those are just pretty hectic because you don't know how the person's going to act off their meds or wherever they're going through. So. But yeah, when it comes to details, we're not working too hard.
I was going to ask you whether or not that's considered a detail for you, like it would be for like a regular town.
Yeah. So no, it's details. We usually do mostly it's UMass guys and girls, and then we'll get some outside hires. We'll do like Amherst and Deerfield and stuff like that. So and they usually jump for that stuff because it's get paid to watch hockey or basketball.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
So how long ago was it you started training with us?
Almost a year.
About a year, right?
Almost a year. It was February. Yep, I started in February, and
nice.
Actually, I love it. I started then, and I was terrified. absolutely terrified. Like there's been days where like I literally call my wife like, I don't want to go, and I'm so nervous right now. Like, I feel sick to my stomach, and like she'd be like, dude, you're already there. You can come home and sleep if you don't go in. It's just go in, and I love it. Like, it's great. Like, I started off in the morning classes because I knew they were smaller. I'm like, okay, I feel a little more comfortable here. Like, there's nobody there. But then, like, I remember, Pat, I remember you made a comment one day. You came in, I think it was the day Randy was, you were on Randy's podcast or YouTube page or something like that. And you said something like, oh, when you start coming to night classes. I'm like, oh, man. When I start going to night classes. And now I love both. I try to mix it up and go to both classes. But, yeah, it's great. I love it. I think it's great for also like for police officers or actually anybody, because like the confidence alone, it's just it's skyrocketed. Like, I've always been a pretty confident person, but now like knowing like I don't know what it is about jiu-jitsu that makes me feel more confident. And it's not like, oh, I can beat somebody up. It's more just, I don't know. I feel like I walk straighter. I feel more like, just in general, I just feel more positive, and just the confidence is just like skyrocketed. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys can explain why confidence would build for something like that. But
I think the frequent, not sure what word I'm looking for. It's not confrontation, but
Stress.
Through a class, we're having one-on-one altercations the entire time.
Yeah,
And I think just getting so many looks at being hands-on one-on-one with a person adds up and just helps with that overall confidence in all situations and confrontations.
Yeah, I would say that too. Putting yourself in like a physical stressful. I mean, I'm trying to think like how many times have I rolled just like in 5 or 10 minute increments over the course of my jiu-jitsu journey? Like, I don't even know how many times. I wouldn't even know the number, right? Let's just say it's hundreds of times. Each one of those is like a little physical altercation. I think it just builds that confidence. Like, all right, I can survive even if I'm like smushed under Matt, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like Ned's got my head ready to pop off. Like, I can survive that.
Yeah. You come in your first day and it's stressful to have someone just tie up with you, right?
Yep.
You're standing up and you just initiate first grips to practice a takedown or whatever, and you get a little tense because you're not used to it. And how quickly does that go away? And it's just like the next level and the next level. And, you're at that point where you have someone that's bigger and way more skilled than you trying to do whatever they're trying to do to you. And you can figure out how to relax a little bit in that situation. So I think having the knowledge that you can withstand that and you do it every day of the week helps across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a pretty good, it's a good reason for it. But I definitely, I think the one big thing too is just the fact that like I've been to other martial arts places, and like you always had the people who in there, like I feel like it's because people were trying to like make a name for themselves or just want to come off as tough guys because they want to try to be a UFC fighter or whatever it is, and just like they get like, oh, you don't know what you're doing here? Oh, get out of here, But like you come in here and it's like every person met like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I'm so and so. What do you do? Blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Like I feel just like now I'm drawing a blank, but just kind of just like the group that we have here is just awesome. I don't know if that's just, it just seems like too now like kind of like seeing like other jiu-jitsu pages online, stuff like that. It seems like that's kind of like the essence of jiu-jitsu, how you're more like just relaxed and calm and just like more of like a friendly place. I mean, don't get me wrong, we go crazy on the mat sometimes, especially me because I don't know what I'm doing, but like it's definitely like
breathe.
Yes, I hear that a lot. But like almost like a family type of setting,
Yeah, from a business and a team standpoint, nurturing the new people is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
The experienced guys that have been doing this for 5 years, they don't need the input. They can just show up here and train. The attention needs to be on the new folks that are coming in and make them feel welcomed and help them figure some things out and start feeling like they're actually understanding it.
I try to tell them too, because we've had I've had a few of my friends come and try it, and like I've tried to get like at least get 1 or 2 rolls in with the new people, and I try to tell them like, listen, like oh man, I suck. I'm like, listen, he's like, oh, you're so much better than me, but I'm like, dude, I suck less than yesterday. I'm like, you suck, I suck a little less, and this guy here sucks a little less. But I'm like, there's so much you can learn here. Like every day you get a little less crappy at it. That's the way I tell them, and they kind of try to make them feel more comfortable, because like I think, like I said, that the nerves get to people and they just don't want to come back, because like I've had one of my friends, he's like, oh man, I was never bad at anything in my life. I'm like, dude, if you come in here thinking you're going to beat everybody, what's that say about the gym? Yeah. So like that's one thing, because like I've always been good at lifting and that kind of stuff, and like that didn't do anything on the mats for me.
Yeah, it takes some time, I think, to flip that switch and recognize it's not about who's beating who in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that at all. It's are you improving day by day? Are you a better version of the person that you were yesterday and last week and the day that you started?
Mm-hmm. That's a good way of looking at it too.
Yeah, I have another friend that Pat knows, and we used to talk all the time about like, I'm like, well, I just got my ass kicked today, and like, oh, but I feel pretty good tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it just up and down, like, you know, constantly. And I always think, if I can just like make minor improvements, so like, all right, so Ryan smashed me yesterday, and he caught me in a guillotine 3 times, and now he can't get me in that anymore, right? Like just those like little things where I'm like, all right, I can make.
Yeah, he didn't get worse at it.
Right.
He clearly got better at defending it.
Right.
So it's almost like you're going against yourself, like almost every day, because you're just trying to figure out what you can do, you know, because I know, like, I walk in there, like, I don't care who taps me out. I know what my thing is, like, if I go with like a blue belt, I'm like, hey, you know, I want to make sure I get tapped less this time. And that's my biggest goal, is just try to get tapped less. Yeah. You know, just like work on defense, and just, if I can go one of the new people and they come in, like, okay, I'm going to try to tap this person out. But until then, just stay alive on the mats. That's all I really try to do, and just try to breathe and calm down.
Yeah, I tell people, every new person I've ever rolled with, I'm always like, just breathe,
relax.
Just relax. First of all, you're gonna throw up on me, and then it's not gonna be good.
Speaking of throwing up, yeah, I had a little bit. I had an incident there last week or the week before. Yeah, so came off an injury, so I could have worked at my upper body, but I didn't. I sat on the couch for 2.5 months. I slowly started coming back, thinking I'm going to be good, and then Daniel, one of our purple belts, decides to say, hey, you know what? Let's go really, really hard. And I thought I was going to be done for the night. Then he told me to get back on the mats, and I ended up throwing up after the match. So
breathe.
I will say, because they were both hyping us up, try to get, it was Mike I was rolling with, and he's awesome. I think he's right around my skill level. I don't know if he's been here a little more, but we had a good roll. Like, and then I had him on the ground, and then all of a sudden, like, he started getting onto he was in turtle, and then all I heard was, get to your feet, and I just kept, like, I'm not letting him get to his feet. So I held that, I held my own. I didn't let him get to his feet, so I feel like I might have won that one, but I did throw up. So yeah,
it happens.
It does happen. You know what? I know it's pretty bad.
No shame there.
Yeah. And Daniel will push the pace, right? So he's you got to be ready for his pace when he comes. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's the thing too, is that, you know, it's like when I used to do CrossFit, you see people, like, they'll throw up all the time from someone do like that. It's just like, oh, you push yourself so hard, you throw up. That's great. That's the way I look at it too. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but it's also like, hey, I've pushed myself to that limit where I left nothing in the tank. I know it was just rolling with one of the guys, but like, even so, I sometimes you just had those days where you want to go as hard as you possibly can, and I didn't leave anything on the mat that day. Yeah, I left it all in the toilet.
Right. So you said you have you been in other gyms? Like, you have any other martial arts or wrestling or anything in your background?
So I kind of like jumped around, and my thing is the same thing with the anxiety, you know, or like it was the travel or something like that. And I never felt like really at home anywhere. Yeah. So it's kind of like I jump around, like, you know, like you start doing something, and then this guy would be like, oh, they're gonna start throwing like hard kicks or something like that, and like, I'm like, dude, it's like, I'm not gonna get better if you don't let me try to, you know, do whatever we're doing. The drill is. And then, or just like the coaching was bad, or like the way they were training, just like I couldn't find a place. So I kept jumping around, and I finally found. And my brother, who also comes here, he's like, dude, look up, you know, 10th Planet Springfield. And I'm like, dude, there's no one in Springfield. I can't find it. Then I found it was Agawam. I'm like, okay, I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, just like, I think it was just like, you know, the community that I was going to. I just didn't like what I was going into. And here, like I said, just a more relaxed setting, where it's like everyone's good until we get on the mats. Then that's where you really put the work in. Then when it breaks, whatever, everyone's cool again. Then when it comes time to drill, we go hard. But I just think it was that. So I mean, I can't really say I have experience, because I didn't. It's not like I went anywhere more than 6 months. Yeah. So this is the most experience I've had in the martial arts setting. Yeah. But
you have to find a place that fits you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would
sometimes
say so.
No matter, it can be the best instructor in the world, gym full of world champions. If you just don't feel like you fit the vibe, it's not going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, and that's the one thing too. Like, my first roll was with Matt. Was he like 300 pounds? But he was like, he landed his back. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, just try to do the moves that you just learned today on me. And he didn't go crazy. I mean, all the guys I rolled with, even to today, like, you know, we have Lewis or Daniel, like, they won't go crazy. They know my pace. They know my skill level. So like, try to just keep it there. instead of tapping me out 100, well, sometimes they do tap me out that many times, but like for the most part, they're just trying to work on their own skills. So it's not like you're walking out of here with a broken arm or something like that. These other places, I felt like some of these people would have been like, oh, they're gonna definitely break my arm.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good setting.
Yep.
But it's definitely, like I said, like the one thing too I love about this place too is the fact that I think it's, when it comes to a martial arts, this is one of the most helpful ones when it comes to my job, because like besides all the media stuff you see, like a lot of officers don't want to go hands-on, and we usually don't go hands-on. And the thing is, though, now with something like this, like I said, I'm 33, and all the people I deal with are usually between 18 and like 23. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm dealing with all these, athletic kids or just young kids who are just, full of testosterone. So it's like I got to do something that's going to help even the playing field. And so I know I can't be getting someone in a chokehold, but at least if like a takedown or just like the Kimura or something. Like Kimura is almost pretty much like handcuffing. Mm-hmm. So like something like that where I can just learn something, where I can hold someone down until backup gets there, or just I'm not getting my face smashed in. It's awesome, and that's where that confidence comes back. Which is like, if I were to get an altercation, hopefully not, that I feel like I'll be comfortable to hold my own. Because when that conversation we had with Randy the other day, when people like no one's going to walk in against Serena Williams and say, I could take you in tennis. But everyone thinks they can go into a fight and knock somebody out. Mm-hmm. That's not the case.
That's funny. That's a good point.
Yep. Yeah. And like I said, I remember that conversation. It still sticks with me. I'm just like, that's absolutely true. I always thought, I work out. I can hold my own. Mm-mm. All it takes, like I said, I'm a white belt almost a year in. And I feel like if any of the people I deal with, I feel like I'll have a better step on them, over them, when it comes to whatever the hell comes at me. So,
yeah. I mean, most of the people have never put themselves in the situations that you put yourself in every week, right? So even if they like to fight, right? How many people have you seen? Maybe it doesn't happen nearly as much here, but I used to see it a lot when I was training at an MMA gym, where people be like, oh, I'm a fighter. And then, like, what does that mean? Because you got in a fight on the playground, or you got in a fight like on your street, right?
There's always the puncher's chance, but the more the smaller that chance becomes.
Right. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, because that's the way I feel too. Because like I said, I'm pretty good at like keeping situations calm, and like if I had people at my work like, I never seen you get mad. I'm like, because if I get mad, they're gonna get mad. It's gonna escalate the situation. Then why do that? Like, I'd rather not fight anybody. I'd rather just be like, hey, guess what? Okay, cool. You put these handcuffs on. Okay, cool. Now get my car. Thank you. And I don't have to fight anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's much about, the thing is knowing that I have that in my arsenal where if something were to go down, I can do it.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to use pepper spray, because I don't know if you guys ever dealt with pepper spray, but it is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. So it's just like, if I have to use that, it's going to be a bad day.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'll be crying again.
Horrible experience.
Yeah, I might throw up again. So, but yeah.
The morning classes you're able to get in with Randy must be a hugely valuable tool for you.
Yes. Randy's awesome because he likes to show me, he'll show us, especially me when I'm there, like the competition style, and just, or sporting style of jiu-jitsu, but he also showed me the part like, hey, this we can use in street. But the problem is he demonstrates on me. Yes. And then he'll show it again, or I'll ask a stupid question. Hey, what would you do in this situation? And we're like, oh, let me show you what I'm going to do. And then I'm bruised for the rest of the week.
A few weeks ago, I had to apologize to Jeff because we were talking to him and I asked him a question about something he was working on, and didn't cross my mind he's going to grab Jeff and put him through.
He's like, come over here. Can I use you for a second? I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. And he did something. And I said to Pat like the next day, I'm like, shit, that actually really hurt. Like, I was like, damn, that sucks. It's like the little tiniest little thing.
But he's great because like someone you talk about like confidence wise, like you ever see Randy walk into a room, it's like once he walks to a room, like he owns that room, and
we all do, right? Like he walks in and we all are like, oh, Randy's here.
Yeah, Randy's here, but he's one of the nicest guys.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He it's funny because I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but he was actually one of my defensive tactics instructor in the academy, and I'm still pretty sure that's the person I broke my hand on when we were doing our OC day.
No kidding.
Yeah, so we ended up having to do, they'd make it was tough. They would make us do some sort of like workout, like push-ups. They made me do burpees for almost a minute. Then you got to sprint down like 30, 40 yards, yelling verbal commands. And then that's where Randy was with the mitts. And at first he was calm. He's like, okay, do your strikes. So he's hitting me. Then there's a guy behind you, and you're supposed to do like elbow strikes behind him. right at him. And the person who was doing the handcuffing, who got OC'd, she was having trouble. She couldn't see that she was having trouble handcuffing. So Randy's, okay, let's pick up a notch. Oh boy, Randy's picking up a notch. I thought my neck was going to break. He was hitting me so hard in the head. But it was a good learning experience because like you work, you get tired and you get in there, and that's what Randy does. Like, when at the jail, you can be running up flights of stairs. You got to be ready to go after it. And Randy knows that better than anybody because 40-something years of experience. But no, he's an awesome teacher.
Yeah, he's the best I've come across by far when it comes to self-defense, self-protection,
absolutely,
law enforcement.
Yeah, and he's just well trained in everything too. It's like like hand to hand. Apparently, he's good with a bow. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. Mm-hmm. He's got a bow and arrow, and he's pretty damn nasty with swords. But no, he's just, and he just, like I said, he's just so knowledgeable too. Like he can also sit there, just not going to do the move to you, but then he'll tell you why he did it, why he put his hand in a certain spot or something like that. He's waiting for, because I move my arm this way or my leg this way. This is why he did this, and he's very, he breaks it down very like so anyone can do it.
Yeah, you'll be hard pressed to find anyone that has the level of knowledge he does, both in depth and also the breadth of all of the martial arts and fighting styles, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. And like I said, that's a huge, I think that's a huge win for, the school, because the fact that he's here as well, so you get his take on the martial art part too, or his part on the jiu-jitsu side and the judo side as well, which I've
been on the receiving end of that too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's taught a few like judo classes or takedown classes here on Saturdays. Maybe we had him do that a few times. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
was like, oh shit, we're going after it. Yeah.
Well, I went to Pat knows this. I went over to his house because that's where his dojo is, and he ended up he was helping do a refresher before I went to my defensive tactics school, and because he used to be the trainer and one of the main instructors for years, and he ended up gave me a nice little punch to the chest, which knocked me over his Bob doll and a few other things. I'm like falling backward trying to catch myself. But like I said, it was just great. Like he took the time out of his day to show me like certain things because he knew like, hey, this is important. Like, like all this stuff the shuffle step, he's like, there's a reason for all of it. And he was just getting me ready for it. So the knowledge that he has is just unreal.
We're working on some ideas to kind of increase our presence and offerings for law enforcement officers here.
Yep.
So we're working on trying to get a law enforcement only class together at some point. I think we're going to try to kick it off with doing like a seminar just for law enforcement. And then, maybe some of our, like blue belts and up or something like that to get them experienced a little bit hands-on with, things are different. Like sport jiu-jitsu is not the same as what you're going to be trying to do in a self-protection scenario. So I think it's valuable for people to get some exposure to the differences.
Absolutely. Now, so would there be striking involved with that? I'm
going to leave it up to
Randy,
whatever Randy believes the people need.
Well, because no, it's just interesting. Cause I read the Hicks and Gracie book just recently, and he was saying that I think he has like most of his blue belts. They need to know how to protect themselves against striking to even it's hard to become a blue belt. You have to be you have to know how to defend against strikes as well. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was kind of cool, different aspect of it. But
something interesting I've been planning on working on. I need to just make it happen. I was listening to Chris Howder on a podcast recently, and he's in the group they call the Dirty Dozen. He was one of the first 12 non-Brazilian black belts in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Oh, wow.
And he talks about how he likes to train and let the other people strike him, but he can't strike them back. So it forces him to make sure his jiu-jitsu is working against strikes.
Oh, that's awesome.
But not just him, using his advantage to get on top of somebody and strike them. Mm-hmm. So, it's a different scenario when both people can strike versus you're allowed to hit me. I just have to use my jiu-jitsu to defend myself and attack you.
Yeah, it's definitely going to show you how good you are. One of the places I trained at, my brother was also there with me, and one of the things was the guy was he was an ex police officer. I forgot where he worked, but he put us in the ring. My brother he said, okay, one guy used kicks and one guy used punches only. And so my brother put his hand up. Okay, I'll do kicks first. So I'm like, oh, this is not bad. But he had like almost a year on me. So I'm like, I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm punching. And then it was his turn to use punches. He pounded on me because he knew a couple easy combos, stuff like that. I didn't know how to kick either. So he just kept me close and he just put me in a corner. But like, it's funny because like, if you don't have your hands to use, like, you know, like you just got to focus on one thing. It shows you your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool if you can do jujitsu and the other person can strike you, but you can't strike back.
Yeah. I used to do classes like that too. It'd be miserable. I'd just get my ass handed to me by like all I can do is kick. And like, I remember I did a little Muay Thai before I did jiu-jitsu. So I remember thinking like, I'm so used to jabbing here to set up a kick, right? I'm like, I can't do that. So you're like, your brain is like 2 steps behind even. It was really weird. Like, those are hard trainings.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that'd be awesome if we do something like that, especially if we can get some more cops in here. So I brought a few people in here, but I think it was a bad timing because it's also around the holidays and everyone's taking vacations and stuff like that. And some people just don't realize that it's what we'll be doing here. But I think it'd be something great. I think it'd probably bring in more cops too.
Yeah, you know, all this stuff takes time. Anytime we're trying to kick off a new program or break into a different demographic, it's always a slow build.
Yeah, and just to get the word out there too.
Yeah, you got to get the word around. We need to get a few more people that are really into it like you are, a few more cops, so that way we have a core group and
then go off there.
Just makes it more appealing for more to come in after that.
Well, John, it's spelled wrong. He wants to sign up. He came Wednesday. I don't think Josh knew how to sign him up, but he's ready to sign up. He's hooked. But he's a Ludlow cop. But there's a few other people. I'm still nagging people all the time. Hey, let's go drink some beers. I'm like, no. How about you go sign up for jiu-jitsu, then we'll hang out those beers afterwards. So I'm nagging a few people, but I think it'd be great, especially with the Adopt-A-Cop program.
Right there. What a great segue that was.
You're wearing your Adopt-A-Cop hoodie.
Yeah, so I don't know if you didn't notice that Adopt-A-Cop program. Got to help the cause. Which thank you very much, Pat, for actually becoming one of the being a part of the program. But so pretty much it's a program that was started in 2020, and it was founded by an ex. He's a police officer, but he's also an ex. I think he was a Navy SEAL, right?
Yep.
But yeah, he just it was all this stuff you see against the cops, defund the cops, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of controversy in 2020. I don't have to bring that stuff up. But he decided, hey, you know what? Instead of taking money away from the cops, let's try to help them out, because cops only go to they do a 6-month academy, 5.5, whatever the heck it's going to be, and they do recertifications. Maybe these big towns and cities. I'm lucky because where I'm at, we have the money for it. But and we do an 8-hour in service, and then if you're in Springfield and you do an 8-hour in service for every 500 cops. This will be, okay, guys, do your strikes. Okay, cool. Check. You're good to go. But so this program's great, So like you can get a chance to do the application. You can do train at jiu-jitsu at an affiliate school for free up until a blue belt, which is usually 12 to 18 months, right? Depending how much you train. But
so us as an affiliate, we make an agreement with them that we'll sponsor one cop to train for free. So Ryan's our sponsored cop, so he's kind of like our ambassador of the program. And then other cops that sign up essentially pay us a small fee, and then if they meet certain training requirements, they get reimbursed by Adopt-A-Cop. I like that it keeps them accountable too. So they're not just they're not taking up space on the roster and not showing up and doing their part of it. If they don't meet their attendance requirements for X amount of time, the program won't reimburse them.
Yeah, and the qualifications too. It's not like it's a hard thing that you have to do to meet their their standards. Besides being a cop, once you get into the program, you literally have to make sure you show up. You got to post a picture. Which, if you ever look at my Instagram, I have like 10 pictures, and I have one picture of my wedding. I don't post pictures, but now I'm doing it because it's worth it. Yeah,
it's just that's their attendance keeping.
Yeah, check and bounce. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if I got to post a picture of my sweaty ass afterwards, like I'm going to do it because why not? Like it's cool. I can train for free, but it's not even that. It's the fact that you're going to let me train for free. I'm going to train even harder now because I want to earn that free training. And that's what cops should be thinking about, because it's like you have all these cops out there like, I don't have the money for that. And it's just like, I was more than happy to pay because it's worth it.
Yeah, now that excuse is gone.
Yeah. But now it's just like, now what's the excuse now though? Don't go buy a $60,000 lifted truck. Don't go buy a boat. Don't go buy another 10 guns. Put it towards something that's going to benefit you. We have a lot of overweight cops out there, and a lot of out of shape cops, and they're just still sitting on their butts when they could be doing something that's actually worth it. So sorry, they're lazy cops, but get your asses over here.
So how does someone go about like applying for the program? Like, do they go to the
great
website?
Question. With my notes, I have that answer. So all you would do is just go to Adopt a Cop, adoptacopbjj.org, and you can go to the website, and they have a link right there where you can go on there and you can apply for the application. And usually they take about, last time they had 100 applicants they took in right away. So I don't know what the next one's going to be, but they're doing a fundraiser now. And so you can either go donate and try to help another cop get in, or just put your application in, and then once you they have an opening, they'll send you an email, whatever it is. That's how they contacted me, and you can go from there.
And they have schools all over, affiliate schools all over the country.
Yeah, all over the United States, and it's still fairly new. So I mean, it's only 2 years old, So I mean, it's still growing, and but yeah, so this is the closest one.
Yeah, we're the only one in this region, I believe. Yeah. The closest is, I think it's Dan Simler's school in Worcester. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else around New England.
Yeah, so which is great, because like even if I got accepted into it, I would have to leave here to go all the way out to Worcester to actually do the program. So I'm happy that Pat helped me out and became an affiliate school, because now it's not just me; other officers can come in and hopefully be part of the program.
So my hope with it is we draw these guys in and we keep them training here, not having to go drive to wherever the closest other affiliate is just to save a few bucks on their training.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, you really can't be like, even people like, I work at UMass, a lot of people live in like Belchertown, the surrounding towns up there and stuff like that. So like, even the drive would be worth it anyways, because like, oh man, the gas prices, but yeah, but what if that one day you have to chase somebody, and then what if that person saying, I'm not going to jail, and then and there's no backup, none of that kind of stuff, or someone jumps you, like, do you really want to take that chance? Like, I'd rather train and make sure I don't need it than not be trained. Then the day I need it, I can't do anything about it, because the last thing I want to do is have to use. I mean, I'm trained on all the stuff I have, but if I can subdue someone safely without injury, it's a win for both people.
Yeah.
So I won't get sued, less paperwork, and like I said, I'll feel better not hurting somebody. Because there's a lot of cops out there who don't want to hurt people, just let you know.
What I'm interested in, we got to spend some time and get you training with some of your kit on and start seeing what the differences are.
I'm already like sweating when you said that, because that's
because you have all this bulk on you, so your body's not the size you're used to it being, and shorts and a rash guard when you're training. And
trying to shrimp with a gun on your side too is not I can't see that being easy as well.
Yeah, my head immediately goes to takedowns. Like I picture you in that, and I immediately picture two handles, right? In your vest.
Yeah, right. And you have to be worried which side is your gun on.
Yeah. Oh, and then I've had Randy actually told me that. So for get ups, he's like, Ryan, he's like, I don't care. He's like, you stay on your right. You guard that right side. That's where your gun is. Like, that's the side you stay on. So when I train here, whatever the drill is, even Daniel said, Ryan, watch your gun side. So Daniel's not even law enforcement. So that's why I try to keep my head and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So always got trained. You always got trained for it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Good idea.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Yeah, I watched the guys on Instagram doing it and stuff, and it's interesting seeing the adjustments that have to be made.
Yeah, because I mean,
or having boots on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that'd be fun, but I don't think we're gonna do it on your mats, so we gotta do it somewhere else.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it.
I have a small section of cheap mats that've been taking up space at home that I need to bring here anyway. Kate's been on my case. So they make like a 10 by 10.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's the same mats we have on the walls.
Oh, okay.
Up in the gym. Yeah. I have another section of those, so we can just throw them down on the floor, and doesn't matter if those get scraped up from whatever.
We did that a little bit because they're trying to change the what we do for defensive tactics, and they're trying to do a little more jiu-jitsu, because all the stuff that we do here, we can't really do. Like I said, no chokes are allowed at all. But yeah, so that'd be pretty cool, because just training those simple things, and it was it was tough. Even if you're just trying to get up, because you're trying to get up and all of a sudden something's poking you in the side or something like that, or your baton can flip around and falls out of your duty belt. It's like, oh crap, that's so you got now that's a weapon for the person. So it's good to be mindful of that kind of stuff and training for it.
Yeah.
Let's turn the page here. Let's get to the fun questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we pepper with the fun questions anyway?
Fun questions.
I don't know if you've listened to this podcast before.
I have once. I listened to the Randy podcast.
Okay.
As long as you like and subscribe. Make sure you go
you don't have to listen. Just like and subscribe.
I am.
So when you make your big super fight debut, what's your walkout music going to be?
Oh, man. I've been thinking about that. I got a few.
By now, people should know that this question is coming, and they should all have answers, right?
So I think it's going to be Walk by Pantera.
Nice.
Yeah,
all right.
so I grew up with a lot of older brothers, and they all listen to like the heavy metal stuff. So I think Walk or Enter the Sandman by Metallica, one of those two.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, I know what else I wanted to talk about. You came along to the WCG. I always screw up the acronym, but WCG, World Championship Grappling Matches, last month.
Yep.
With Daniel and Lewis competed. That was your first time at like an
actual for a jiu-jitsu event. It was awesome. I literally was sweating. I was so nervous for Lewis and Daniel. Like, it was crazy. Like, I feel like I was going to be in the ring just sitting there watching. But it was awesome.
Hard watching teammates compete, man. I know.
It's scary because, like I said, and I also saw the guy that Daniel was going against, and I'm like, Daniel's like, oh, he's not the big. I'm like, dude, he's a big motherfucker. Like, he's a big boy. But yeah, it was cool. I loved it. It's just an old school. Like, I'm a huge Rocky fan. So like that old kind of like
grungy old gym and boxing.
I loved it though. I'm like, oh, I want to get up into that. I want to get to the. It made me want to get better so I can do a super fight one day. That's the thing it gave me.
Yeah.
We even put Ryan to work doing the interview questions for me.
Yeah, I know. I didn't call me over. I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna interview me. Why? And then it's like, no, ask questions. I'm like, damn, I did pretty good though, right?
You did awesome.
You did awesome, dude.
We put him on the spot with zero. He had no notice at all.
Yeah.
He was across the room. I was like, Daniel, who you want, Tran or Ryan to ask you the questions? And he calls Ryan over.
Well, we wouldn't hear Tran.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm like, Tran, that can be an option.
Yeah.
And when I saw the video, I was thinking to myself, like, wow, who's asking these questions? Because it wasn't him, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know you were there. So I'm like, who's asking these? Because they're really good. Like, you couldn't like totally hear everything, but I was like, oh, that was pretty good. He's like, oh yeah, that was Ryan. I just called him over at the last second.
Yep.
Well done.
I felt like I was trying to, like in my thought process, it was like, would I interview someone for work? That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, so that's my thought process. But yeah, it was cool. Loved it.
Yeah, the video came out really well just for we threw it together kind of last minute there. I just pulled out the camera and Ryan went off the cuff with some questions.
I killed it. I'm in the wrong profession.
Apparently.
Yep. What's the next question? What do we got?
What else you got for him?
I thought I was going to get hit with a bunch of questions.
Well, I mean, we got a lot of information we've sucked out of you in 45 minutes.
I mean, you came with notes. We didn't have to put you in the hot seat.
Exactly. Some people we have to extract information from. You were willing to give it up.
Yeah, usually in our podcast, it's usually me and Daniel talking because you can't hear Tran or he's very quiet. So it's just like me and Daniel going back and forth.
His mic levels are boosted up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't put anything around him because he likes to play with things and, gets distracted a little bit.
Yeah.
A bit.
So what are your jiu-jitsu goals for this year?
One of my goals is to tap out a blue belt. That's my one. I want to sub a blue belt. That's my one goal. I don't care what it is.
Get that done tonight if you're easy enough.
Yeah, right. No, one of my goals is so short-term goal is I want to compete. Win, lose, I don't care how I want to do my best, but I would love to compete. And long-term, I want to try to be a blue. I mean, I don't care how long it takes me, but I'd like to try to get to a blue belt before the next year. So that give me so I'm almost a year in, and like I said, I know I have a long way to go, but that's one of my goals is to train hard so I can get to that blue belt.
I know some of the guys are looking at competitions coming up, so we'll have some opportunities soon.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping there's one in April, I think around Easter, and that's what I'm going to try to shoot for because that's plenty of time for me to get back into good shape. My knee should be 100%, and I think I can just get a lot more training in for that. And it's not around Easter, so the kids should be gone at school, so that means I can get the day off. So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So those are my goals.
So I'm like gonna be super conscious of never letting you tap me because I'll be broken arms and out cold. But I'm like, I didn't tap. He didn't get me. He didn't get me with his resolution for the year.
No. I've been really trying to focus on my like guard retention and stuff like that because I love usually trying to stand up so I can try to like muscle someone or get a takedown in. But I've been really trying to focus on my guard retention kind of stuff because I know that's really important. And I think being a white belt, that if I can defend other people and that's going to get me less tapped, that's what I'm going to try to focus on. So that's one of my bigger goals in tapping somebody out.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Competing sooner is better.
Yeah, I was going to try to compete back in September with the whole group, but I had a football game that day, so work wasn't going to let me get out for that. I was trying to say, oh, well, no, can we put it in as a training? And he's like, no, Ryan, shut the hell up. You're working. I'm like, all right, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. I tell people, if you do know that you want to compete, sooner is going to be better because as the skill level goes up, you're getting out there for the first time, and they've maybe been competing for 2 years.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Even though you're the same skill level, the competition is a skill on its own.
It's a different game.
I can see my nerves getting pretty high because, like, even coming here, being nervous, then, I said going to the super fight with Daniel and Lewis, and then me actually going out there, like, all eyes on me. It's like, oh boy, that's got to be nerve wracking.
Yeah. So except it's all in your own head, though. You think all eyes are on you.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the
no
case.
one cares.
Yeah. I got to remember that.
They're going to forget about it tomorrow, even if they did watch.
Good. I'm happy with that. Forgetting about me. So
even like when we were doing the practice OT rounds last week, like that's a good pressure cooker
for sure.
Moment, right? Everybody, the team is not. I mean, granted, not everybody was there, but like everybody's kind of watching what you're doing. And that's really all it is. Like, just it's a different level of pressure. Probably a lot of it that you put on yourself, right? Because you're like, now I'm going to actually go out and show my skills, different than like just rolling around on the floor here. It definitely feels different. I don't know. You could like roll 20 5-minute rounds here and be perfectly fine. You roll 1 5-minute round in a competition, you're like, shit, I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I can see that.
And the more you do and the more work you put into it, you're just trying to get those closer to each other.
Okay.
You don't want to go too far and get to where you're not up and ready for competition, but you're trying to get as close as you can to what your training rounds feel like. When you first start, you're going to be opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I know it's going to be a whole new experience, but like I said, like just coming to here was a whole new experience. And now I want to take it to that next step, and competition's the way to go.
For sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great. Cool, man.
Anything else before we wrap it up?
I think I'm good.
My notes are complete.
Did you check off everything?
I got everything checked off. Mentally, I checked it all off. Right down the list.
Good.
When are we going to drop this? We're going to try to get it out next week?
Yeah, we got it out pretty quickly.
So Friday, January 21st, we have Chris Shigoli here for a seminar, 6 to 8 p.m. He's a brown belt from 10th Planet Long Island. He's teaching a donation-based leg lock seminar, so it's a great chance to get in and learn some new stuff from someone we haven't trained with for a good price. And then the next day, January 22nd, he's the main event at RCS Promotions against Mason Fowler, the ADCC Trials Champ ×2, Submission King. Underground King. And Jeff and I will be calling the action on the broadcast there.
That's right. Big day. Big weekend coming up next weekend.
Big weekend.
Fun.
Yeah. And then looking ahead, March 5th, we're going to have my sensei, John Boteo, here for a seminar. 2nd degree black belt under Eddie Bravo, my original 10th Planet instructor. He's given me all my belts, blue through brown. Hoping for a big turnout for that seminar. We're going to have a list of promotions for our guys that I'm looking at. So we're trying to pack the house here to support John, and also to make sure we show out for our guys that are going to get promoted. Usually we do a promotion here or there, but I'm kind of saving a few up for this and try to make it something fun. So that's March 5th. Flyers just about to go out on that. It's going to be $60 advanced, $80 at the door. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's great.
Can't wait.
Yeah, good things cooking. All right, everybody. Follow us on your favorite podcast service, Apple, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. You can find the video version of this on YouTube. Find us on Instagram, all the good spots. Appreciate your patronage.
And you cops out there, make sure that you sign up, please. I need some more of you guys out here so we can start a new program.
Absolutely.
It'll change your life.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks Ryan.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Let's go roll.
Let's go.